Congressman Devin Nunes drove right up to the back door of the banquet hall where he would address a group of agricultural lenders, avoiding hundreds of protesters on the street.
Devin Nunes has got to go!
Many of those protesting think Nunes, as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, is not adequately investigating President Trump's potential connections with Russia and Russian influence in the election.
I don't feel like he's representing me as an American. I'm very concerned about this administration eroding people's faith in our democratic process. And that's my main concern.
We asked Nunes about that concern.
They want to know if Donald Trump is in Russia's pocket, and when are we going to find that out?
Yeah, well, look, there's an FBI investigation going on. You have a House and Senate investigation going on, and those are key components to our Russian investigation.
When will the House committee get back in business?
Well, the rumors of our demise were greatly exaggerated. We've had a Russian investigation for several years.
But you weren't investigating whether the president was then tied into Russia, and that's the new thing.
Well, there is no evidence of collusion with the President of the United States and the Russians.
But amidst the swirling controversy over his White House connections, Nunes has canceled the meetings of his Intelligence Committee. And fellow Valley Congressman, Democrat Jim Costa, feels Nunes' investigation now lacks credibility.
We need an independent commission, I think, to really do the sort of investigation that will have the trust and the credibility that is needed to get to the bottom of this, to lead us wherever the evidence will take us.
But Nunes doesn't see it that way.
There's not a better person in the House of Representatives to do this investigation than me.
Not something most in this crowd would agree with.
I don't think that he's being honest about his information. I think he needs to recuse himself, and they need to find another Republican.
Those protesters are from half a dozen different local groups that have formed since the Women's March against President Trump. The latest revelations that the White House provided Nunes with documents that provided President Trump a small degree of cover for his claim he was wiretapped is seen as an example of Nunes being too cozy with the president. In the newsroom, Gene Higginson, ABC 30 Action.
Ho, ho! Devin Nunes has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Devin Nunes has got to go!
Yeah, you know, it's been surprising. There's a lot of national exposure, a lot of national coverage, but the actual traffic to our office is from constituents here in the Valley is pretty low. And in fact, a lot of support, a lot of friends calling me, supporting me. But you know, it's just been, at the end of the day, this is it's a tough job, and there's tough work that has to be done, and you know, I think there's nobody better than me right now to be doing it.
Some of our top stories today. Representative Devin Nunes is back in the Valley today. He'll be speaking at the Ag Lender Society of California meeting this afternoon in Fresno. Those with the society believe he needs to stay in touch with his constituents now more than ever, considering his role as the chairman of the House Intelligence.
You're talking about this unmasking, but I think people really don't care about that. They want to know if Donald Trump is in Russia's pocket, and when are we going to find that out?
Yeah, well, look, there's an FBI investigation going on. You have a House and Senate investigation going on, and those are key components to our Russian investigation.
When will the House committee get back in business?
Well, the rumors of our demise were greatly exaggerated. We've had a Russian investigation, as I told you the other night, Gene. We've had a Russian investigation for several years. In fact, I was the one who warned about this a year ago, that in my warnings went unlistened to. And so we'll continue to investigate Russia. It's long been a focus of ours, and that hasn't stopped despite what you may see in the national media.
But you weren't investigating whether the president was then tied into Russia, and that's the new thing.
Well, there is no evidence of collusion with the President of the United States and the Russians.
There's certainly a lot of circumstantial evidence pointing to that, and that's why we have these investigations, and that's what people want to know.
That's correct, and we'll continue to investigate that.
When will your committee get back in business?
We haven't stopped. We haven't stopped. That's what I'm saying. This is not. That is not a true statement. We've had investigators working every single day on this issue.
Okay.
How have things been different in the past few weeks?
Well, look, it's a lot of fun to have everybody chase me around, I guess. But it's more. I'm not a guy who seeks out the cameras. So, but it is what it is. I signed up to do this.
One commentary was, you've succeeded in diverting attention from the president's. He threw out the thing about surveillance, so you kind of gave him cover for that a little bit anyway, perhaps with this White House visit. And now the investigation, the House investigation, is stalled, and he's gotten rid of one investigation. You just got to worry about one more.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, the House investigation has not been stalled. We've long been investigating Russia. That continues. So
are you obstructing the investigation into the president? Are you too close to the president to do a fair job with this?
We're not. So that's the investigation long continues. There's not a better person in the House of Representatives to do this investigation than me, because I've been the one who's warning about Russia for a long, long time.
You're not going to recuse yourself?
No, not. Thanks, Gene. Good to see you.
You understand we're not going to get into sources and methods. I mean, it's, if not, who's going to ever come to our committee? But I can tell you that those reports are mostly wrong. There are. I mean, this is something that I've known about for a very long time, from people who were not affiliated at all with the White House or anybody there. The challenge was finding a place to be able to view this information, to be able to get my hands on this information. So I think what's in those stories is there's a lot of innuendo. There were people that probably knew about this, knew about me being there, but the fact of the matter is that doesn't make them the source of my information.
The New York Times breaking the news. The two White House officials helped give Nunes intelligence reports. So who are those White House officials? Well, according to the Times, Ezra Cohen-Watnick is the senior director for intelligence at the National Security Council, and Michael Ellis, who works in the White House counsel's office. But get this, he used to work for Chairman Nunes on the House Intelligence Committee. So is Chairman Nunes talking today, finally telling us what happened at his Tuesday night rendezvous at the White House? Nope, silence from him. He's not talking. His spokesperson only saying this, quote, he has stated many times Chairman Nunes will not confirm or deny speculation about his source's identity, and he will not respond to speculation from anonymous sources. And yes, you have heard that many times.
I'm not going to get into the sources.
We never talk about sources and methods.
We don't talk about sources at this committee. We want more people to come forward.
Coming up at 10, the House inquiry into Russia's tampering in the election. At 11, the Senate Intelligence Committee hearing on Russian interference. At 12, the Senate committee from Jared Kushner on his meetings with Russians. Hold on, I thought 12 was the House Committee's questioning of Paul Manafort on his Russian meetings. Let's see.
What's the problem, Diane?
Yeah, what's at 12?
At 12 is the House Committee's questioning of Trump lawyer Michael Cohen about Russia.
Okay, thank you.
At 1, the FBI investigation of Michael Flynn's contact with Russia. At 2 is the hearing of illegal meetings under Sergei Kislyak.
I believe at 2 is the FBI testimony on their Russian investigation.
When did the schedule change?
Hey, what's the holdup, guys? You done with these promos?
Hey, Chuck, what's at 2?
At 2 is a debate about whether Representative Nunes should step aside in the Russian probe.
What happened to the FBI testimony on the investigation into Russia?
Oh, God, that's now a closed meeting and is held on Wednesday.
No, that's the House Committee questioning of Roger Stone on his Russian connections.
No, you mean the House Committee questioning of Carter Page on his Russian connection.
Wait, those are different guys?
I think so.
I don't know. How is anyone... It is...
Everyone out. I am new boss, Ivan Sispanovich. Now we do special report live from House of Representatives.
I want to read to you something you said here at the podium on March 23rd when you were originally asked if the White House might have had any role in providing information to Chairman Nunes. You first said it didn't make any sense to you, and you went on to say, and I'm quoting you here, I don't know why he, Chairman Nunes, would brief the speaker rather than come down here to brief us on something that we would have briefed him on. It doesn't seem to make a ton of sense. So I'm not aware of it, but it doesn't really pass the smell test. You said that it doesn't pass the smell test on March 23rd. Now there's reporting
I think again,
within the White House that they were the sources of this. I'm just trying to put those two things together.
Right, so number one, the first quote that you're reading, if you actually go back, I was responding to, I was very clear that I said, based on what Chairman Nunes has said, I believe the following doesn't make sense.
Something that told us that you're willing to look into and ask questions about the process and provide us answers.
No. Please don't put words in my mouth. I never said I would provide you answers. I said we would look into it.
Are you disputing the reports in the New York Times?
I'm not commenting on the reports.